Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new compact brushless eraser from Eachine. It's the Aurora 90 and in practice is nothing else than a direct clone of the Halo 90, okay, from an original design. Like most of Chinese product, it's a direct copy. Okay, we can regret it, but it's like this. Anyway, you have a ton of features associated with this Aurora 90, and you have a very compact minikube electronics board inside. So the lower layer of this minikube is welcoming a 4-in-1 with ESC. Some Bell LES compatible, supporting the last technology of D-Shot 600, okay, and announced to support 10 ampere with a peak of 15. And on top of it, you have an SP Racing F3 board, including also a beta flight built-in OSD. That's great because you will be able to monitor all the information on your favorite IO FPV cameras. That's great. And you have three choices of receiver. For mine, it's a FearSky D8, where you will see that the telemetry is working, but you have also DSM-X, DSM-2 for Spectrum radio, and for FlySky you have also a version supporting the IFHDS2A protocol. So if you have a FlySky i6, it will work without any problem. So a lot of features for this 90mm machine. Let's discover the content of this bundle. Okay, let's open it. An instruction manual printed in color. Well, very nicely done when you have, for example, half the list of each element, the split diagram, etc., and how to bind, how to mount. This is the minikube, okay, the lower board, ESC, and the main flight controller board, and the other side with the long chip is nothing else than the OSD board, and the three versions of receiver, FearSky, FlySky, and DSM-2, okay, and the pinout to mount the motors. We don't see, for example, the flash boot, okay, so could be a problem. And how is attached the video transmitter with now 4 wires, 2 for power, and one is for the V-in and the other for the V-out, because the OSD information are produced in the main chip. Okay, that's great, everything is here, and as well how to bind in with your Taranis for FearSky, the different flight mode, etc. A very beautiful, well done instruction manual. Great. Let's discover. You have a battery, 2S battery, 450 mAh powers, announced with a discharge rate of 80C. Wow. Anyway, I start to raise caution. Why to give such powerful battery, if it's true, with some GST connector? We all know that after a peak of current, the GST connector can handle very well these high current values. Okay, so an XT30 connector will have been a better choice in my point of view if you want to boost your performances more. ZSC are officially supporting 3S. It's good to know, but anyway, let's give an information about the weight. You have the balancer plug and GST connector. So standalone, the battery weighs 31.4 grams. I would give you some dimension if you want to find some replacement, but no problem. So it's 54 by 30, 30 or 29 to be more precise, and by 10. Okay, so quite standard. What you will find is strange for the BNF version, but you have a charger. Well, why not? But I don't think it's very useful. It's a B3 Pro, still using the 2S or 3S balancer plug to charge, and you have the power cable. Okay, and I've got the European socket. What you will find as bags with 4 spare props, all red. Well, maybe for last flight we would prefer to have different color. So 4 blade props, 2-inch model, and you need the extrude. And good news, they gave some extrude. They are some M2 model and 4 mm longs. Okay, if I'm not wrong. And each props weighs exactly 0.6, 0.7 gram. They are quite flexible, and you will see it's very important. This remark is very important. Okay, so 4 spare props, and you will have a bag with a screwdriver and an Allen key to lock the X screws on the motors. Okay, that's great. Finally, you will find this Velcro band with a tape installed. It's to secure completely your battery installation. And finally, here is the machine. Look at that, very beautiful in the first glance. So let's detail a little bit more this machine. Let's give immediately the weight without the battery first. Okay, to give you an information, 76 gram. Okay, and if I had the battery, I hope it will be okay, we reach 107.4 grams, and if I had the small pad, because we have to secure the insulation, we should reach 108.4 grams. Okay, so not so super light machine, but let's discover what you have for each weight. First of all, everything is in carbon, and it's not a real duct system, it's more some efficient prop guard in carbon, so it will be much more solid than the plastic version. The thickness of the carbon element is pretty small, 1 millimeters. Why? Okay, the main structure is a square one attaching the motor on each extremity, is more large, and the thickness is maybe 1.5, no, still 1 millimeters or 1.5 millimeters of thickness. Okay, so a strong structure for the square, where you have some axis to reinforce the solidity of the structure, and you have the battery attachment, very thin battery strap, maybe a more larger one. Okay, and when you will install, you will see that even if you lock the battery correctly you will see that the battery is still slipping a little bit, slide. Okay, so it's very not so obvious to attach correctly. So definitively the battery installation need that you had the battery, the Velcro tape, okay, because you can see that it's still slipping, not perfect. So let's discover a little bit more the electronics and the motors. So motor has some 1104, so a little bit more tall than 03, enhanced to spin at 7,500 kV, and as you can see, you have the prop installed on the prop guard, and immediately I will raise an important issue. Okay, look the clearance between the aluminum standoff. You have one aluminum standoff here, okay, and inside you have also some screws. I hope you can be able to see one screw here to attach to this central aluminum standoff, one screw here for this one, and another one here. Okay, so 3 screws, and the big problem is the clearance versus the props and this standoff. I hope you will be able to see. So very narrow. Look at that on the opposite side. You can almost have less than 1 millimeters. The same for the screws here. Okay, look at that. So the clearance, if these screws are not well installed, is so small, and the main problem is for this red aluminum standoff here. So it's a big problem in the design, and I raise immediately my red curtain. Okay, and it's definitively a big problem, and out of the box this machine is potentially very dangerous, because if a props by some high acceleration are so flexible that it can touch the aluminum standoff, and you can break props midair and crashing your machine. Okay, especially after high positive acceleration, or as well negative, but more on the positive one. Okay, it could be a big problem. So what to do? And in the original Halo 90, they start to offer you need to install some spacer bottom the motors, okay, between the main carbon one and between the motor. You need to insert some small spacer. Okay, so the screws here are 4 millimeters, so maybe you will need 5 millimeters or 6 millimeters when you will insert this spacer, but the spacers are not yet provided by Banggood. So be aware, out of the box, I strongly advise to install this spacer, and why not also some electrical tape on them to offer a kind of soft mount to limit a little bit the vibration, okay, transmitted by motors. So after this big problem in the design, let's discover a little bit. You have the FPV camera, and look the camera, it's just attached by a basic tape, and for mine is not, the tape is no more efficient. That first is moving inside the hand, is not completely attaching correctly, so I will have some jellos for sure. So what you will need to do is through a rubber band to attach through this 4 hole here, half circle hole, to attach more correctly the cloverleaf of the IO camera. It's 25 milliwatts as usual, 48 channel, that's great. And but it's a 600 TVL 1/4 CMOS camera, so the light sensitivity is maybe not super fantastic. At least you have 2 buttons here. So the frontal one is to select between the pale and the NTSC. You can also mirror or flips the image, but the more important is more the rear one. When if you short press on it, you will cycle between the 8 frequency inside the current selected band, and if you press more than 2 seconds, you will be able to cycle between the 6 supported band. Okay, just beneath you have a big buzzer, that's great, so very loud, so no problem to hear. And look that on the left side, look the position of the USB. How it's possible to connect the USB? It's not possible. It's not possible out of the box. You need to at least minimum to remove these proper guards. It's a real shame. Okay, second major drawbacks, and the third smaller one is the IO FPV camera attachment. On the top of it, you can find the blue here for the FieSky version. You have the bind button, okay, to bind your FieSky receiver in D8 mode, and laterally you have this micro FL IPX connector, so be sure that this one is correctly installed. Okay, press on it to be sure. If you have a poor FPV range, it may come from this fact that the antenna 2.4 GHz antenna is not correctly. So attach the antenna more like this to secure the micro FL connector. Okay, so the front you have some connection between the PDB to the flight controlling board, and here laterally on the right side more so the FPV attachment where everything is here. The rear side show a full light LEDs. They are programmable, that's great, but by default not superbly programmable. So I will show how to program them a little bit better, okay, to indicate the turning and the to add the Larsen scanner effects. That will be a little bit better. So what I am thinking about the Aurora, I got a lot of potential, but since the props are so flexible, they are soft, there are the major issue with the aluminum stand-up. So I'm very annoying, and I'm stressing a lot about this machine in case of important acro and figures angle, and this machine can potentially crash by itself. Okay, so definitively need to install some spacer. Okay, you have to build something, but it's very important. Okay, so now before to show you the default Betaflight configuration, this machine comes with the Betaflight 3.1, so almost already one, and I will show the default setting as well, the flashing the last actual version 3.1.3. You have to know that from the Betaflight 3.1, they one more time optimize the loop time, and you can even increase the loop time parameters. For 4 Hz, you can now even handle 8 Hz, and the CPU usage will be around 50%, so quite acceptable. So now let's show you how to bind it. It's pretty obvious. Okay, as most D8 machine, you have to keep press this button while powering the system, but I want to power it through the USB, because the good news, if you plug the USB, you will power the FieldSky receiver. So I want to show you, and thanks to NGRC video, how to access more easily to the USB board. It's you need this screwdriver, okay, provided, and you have to remove this screw here. Okay, this one is pretty obvious. Okay, and as well here, this more inner one, so just go like this in this direction and simply turn, and the screw will come little by little. When you will reinstall it, don't tighten it extremely strongly, because it will be harder for the next time to remove it. But anyway, like this. Okay, and then I will use this tweezer to remove it like this, and then you will be able now to rotate the probe card and to access more easily to the USB. Okay, now it's possible. So real shame that in the original design. Okay, let's show you the binding procedure. So with my Devo 7A radio modded with the CC2500 RF chip, or directly with the Taranis in D8 mode. Okay, so I'm ready to press bind in the receiver, attach the USB connector, and I will use this computer to power the machine. So I will press bind first here, okay, to the small tiny button, and then press the machine. So now you have a blue solid line here on the receiver, and then I will press bind, and if everything is okay, it will stop to flash, then after a couple of seconds should flash a bit. So if everything is okay, like this, now it's flashing, I will power off everything. Okay, then reboot the machine and turn on my radio, and now it's bound. You have a blue solid line for the receiver, no problem. Okay, so now show you the default Betaflight 3.1 configuration, and let's do some little optimization. Welcome to the first demo of live with the Eachine Aurora 90. As you can see, I installed a small rubber band here to little bit fix the free gap with the not efficient tape, okay, the original tape locking the IO camera into the aluminum camera mount. Okay, we'll probably remove a little bit of jello even if this rubber band is not super efficiently. I will show the light new settings. You will see this just beautiful, okay, and I will fly first in a lost condition in 6-axis stabilized flight mode, then more in FPV. The camera is the battery is only 450, so I don't expect super great flying time, around 3 minutes, 4 minutes maximum. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so let's power the system. Look at the light with the scanner lasso effect, and as it's beeping because the transmitter is not yet connected, and as soon as it's bound, no problem. So look the light effect, great. I will now power my FPV goggles. Okay, I hope it will be okay, and I hope you will be able to see the OSD information and some bottom. I will record. I'm not sure I'm on the right channel. I hope so. And let's engage the flight. So beep warming. Okay. I've got a huge drift on the left. I don't understand why. Yes. So some users already report that this machine, especially in 6-axis stabilized mode, is drifting a lot. Even I perfectly correct done the accelerometer calibration. Look that I have to apply, and the drift is huge. Look that. So a big problem with the gyros. I don't know. Maybe the motor vibration. So some soft mounting with some electrical tape seems must to do with the spacer installation. Okay, let's see a pump. Yes, powerful for sure. With the default setting, actually it's not super sporty, but it's stable. Yes. Okay. I'm a little bit annoyed by the drift on the left side. Let's go now more into FPV.
Okay, my conclusion about the Aurora 80 is, well, if in theory this machine offers a lot of features, very interesting, with this Eachine cube integrating directly F3 boards with Betafly USD and some strong D-Shot 600 4-in-1 ESC board. Well, there are a lot of problems in the original design, and I can't really recommend this machine. Main reason why, first of all, the clearance for the standoff are so small for the props that you can have mid-fly some contact. Okay, the battery installation is not super great. As soon as you're falling into the grass, look that the machine is full covered of grass. It's a real grass mower. Okay, for sure you will spend 5 minutes each time to clean all the duct, the pop guard system, and be aware that no wet grass is not entering into the electronics. So I strongly advise first to install some liquid electrical tape to protect a little bit the electronics. Okay, what I did if you don't want to have some charts. Second point, there are a big drift affecting 6-axis stabilize, shifting to the left. I don't know why, even if all channels are correctly centered, calibration is done. More in even in acro, in mid-flight, you have this rear right motor losing some thrust sometime for a fraction of a second, so especially after a night pitch or roll angle, so it's really I don't know, annoying, I don't know. So in my point of view, there is a problem probably with the gyros, because maybe the drift and loss of thrust can be linked, I don't know, or it can be also associated with a battery sagging problem. Okay, the efficiency of the battery is not strong enough mid-fly to manage to turn correctly the motors, but I'm thinking a little bit more from the gyros. So for the FPV camera installation is not super stable too, offering some little jello. So for most of this reason, I can't recommend like this machine, except if at least you are doing some spacer installation to avoid the prop breaking mid-air. Okay, for the gyros, it's still an open question, maybe a tuning of Betafly or something like this, but I don't think so. So I will end this video. I hope you like it, whatever. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.